Hey guys, it's Combat Saturday, and today we're going to continue last week's video when we were discussing the center line. Okay, now we did cover the shifting and stepping, but we had to go over some of the finer details. Okay, some of the specific places where you place the pressure on your feet and your balance and center line, and how you actually do the movements. Okay, so we discussed last week how you shift, how you open in your stance, and this kind of helps determine your stance, and everything comes back to this. Okay, well, when we're stepping, we're going to have one foot out and we're stepping. Now it's very important, and this confuses a lot of people. The pressure must be on the balls of your feet. Okay, now if the pressure is too far back in the heels, you'll tend to lean backwards, and then you would have to bring it towards your feet in order to push forward. And also, what happens too is that you tend to have a lazy foot. If the weight's too much to the back, your foot tends to be lazy and comes up, and it doesn't come up far enough. So you're kind of in limbo here. This is not a very good sense. All you've done is widen your stance. You haven't actually moved your center. Okay. So what you really want to do is, have the pressure on the balls of your feet. Every time that rear foot digs in, okay, it doesn't have to be this foot. It could be this foot. I should say the second foot, because every time you move, it's going to be a first foot and a second foot. There's always going to be a slight lag, a slight delay. Okay, and then, all right, and every time the second foot comes up, it has a kind of feel like you're digging into the ground, sliding into the ground. Okay, so come here, I'm pushing. If I'm going forward, I'm pushing off, and I'm digging into the ground. Okay, now if I'm going backwards, okay, I'm pushing with this foot, and I'm not so much digging into the ground, but I am just kind of bringing it back. But I'm mindful of where I want to be. Okay, you want to be centered. So remember, if we come from the Yiji Kim Young Ma stance, and then we just turn, you notice that my weight is a bit more on the back leg. Okay, I'm not doing this, but it is a bit more on the back leg. If I go to the other side, same thing. It's still on that back leg. Okay. Okay. So slide it in. Okay, dig it in. Dig it in. Comes in and it digs in. And this way, if I do a punch and I want to get into position, let's say to do an uppercut or something like that, this will allow me to do that. If I have a lazy foot, I'm going to be out of position. Okay, right. So I'm here, and if I do it properly, I come in. See, now I can do something. I'm gonna come in here, and I'm in there. I'm in there, right? I'm not leaning in, right? I'm centered. I'm still in there. Okay. If I don't bring the foot up enough, I'm gonna lean in. I'm not in center. Okay. So having the weight on the ball of your foot and digging it in will really help to make sure you're on center, and also to make sure you have the right energy, and to make sure you land in the correct way. Okay. Another thing too, and this is a similar thing too, if the weight's on your heel, what's going to happen is that you'll tend to land heel toe. And that's okay when you're walking. But when you want to actually generate power and force, you need to have, again, landing with the ball of the foot or the flat foot. Okay? Because then you have your whole body behind it. Okay? Whole body has to be behind it. If you're going this way, if you're letting heel toe, you're kind of landing with the timing of the punch with the landing of your heel, and that's not your whole weight. That's just only a small part of it. Okay, this way is the whole thing. Okay. All right. Yeah. Really good book if you can get your hands on it. I have a copy. It's by Jack Dempsey, called The Championship Fighting, and he discusses a lot about the falling step. Okay, Jack Dempsey. He's a very, very well-known name in boxing, but he was famous for knocking out Jess Willard. And Jess Willard outweighed him by, I think, at least 60 or 70 pounds, maybe, something like that. He was a huge, huge guy. And because Jack Dempsey understood the center line, the balance, and how to use his whole body behind his punches and things, he knocked him out. Remember, so Dempsey wasn't a big man. He was maybe 180 pounds, maybe slightly over, not much more than that, and he took these big monsters. So there you go. There's something to that. Okay. All right. So the drill is to do this box step, okay? I'm going to show you a step through one as well, okay? So a box step here, we're going to push off with the rear leg, push off and dig it in, okay? We're going to come this way, and we're going to come this way and dig it as well. But you see, don't go too far. Don't do this, right? Still maintain a stance and go backwards and go this way and go this way. So whichever way I'm stepping, the opposite foot pushes off. If I'm going forward, this foot pushes. If I'm going this way, then this foot pushes. If I'm going backwards, then this foot will push. And if I'm going this way, then this foot will push, okay? All right? And there's also a step through, okay? And this is another thing too. And it's another way to help train your center. So what we're gonna do is gonna step through this way, and then step through this way, and step through this way. So a few ways it can be done. It can be done with a circular step, so I can bring this foot towards the other one and step through, or I can just step straight through from where it is, okay? So if I'm here, I step right there, and then this foot goes off on this angle, okay? Okay. All right. So I'm stepping through, okay? This foot goes here, this foot goes here, and back up a little bit here. Here. See, so every time I'm doing that digging in, right? I'm going here, here, here. Now that's the full way of doing it, but remember like I said before, I could just step off an angle here, because let's say I just hit someone here and they move over here, right? Well, I mean, I could pivot, I could do that, but I would rather just kind of step through this way. They're here to over here, I can go that way. If they go over here, then I can pivot that way, right? All depends, you know, you don't want to be stuck thinking that you have to be only one side forward all the time, okay? You can change it, all right? Now, you'll always have your preferred side. That's natural, okay? Just like you have a preferred hand to write with, okay? But, you know, you want to be free, and you want to be able to move in any direction as you need to, but always holding your center, okay? So remember, everything comes from here. You start here, you have your Ji Kim Yo Ma stance, okay? You're completely centered. You have neither leg forward or backwards. This is kind of like your home plate, okay? Then whichever way I move, I'm just moving that center around, right? I'm just moving it around, right? See, that's the thing, but I always have a center. And just remember, dig in that foot, every time you step, right? Dig it in, okay? And the process of digging in, what's actually happening is you're making yourself a little shorter. Okay, that's what's really happening. You make yourself shorter. You come in, okay? But you rise up with that, okay? It's not enough to simply remain the same height, but try and tell yourself to make yourself shorter. And if you do that, you will at least, hopefully, not rise up, okay? Even if your height doesn't change, at least you won't rise up. Okay, just make yourself shorter. Come in, make yourself short. Make yourself short. Make yourself short. Make yourself short. Okay? And still on center. And remember, no matter where you are, weight is predominantly on the back leg, not too much, you're still centered. Here, 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 and close back into the Ji Kim Yo Ma stance. Okay? So anyway, some of the finer details about moving your center around, okay? Keep in mind too that some people think that, you know, stepping around Wing Chun, boxing, or other martial arts, you have to be so rigid, okay? You can see guys doing so rigid, the head's up here like a peacock. Okay. That's only done at the very, very early stages, just to show you what your center feels like, okay? Later on, you're meant to be more fluid than that, okay? Some people stay that way, and they actually try to fight like that, and not surprisingly, they get their asses kicked, okay? You're meant to move in a more fluid way, okay? Once you find your center, you can change your position, you can do all these things, but by that point, the center will be so ingrained into your subconscious that you won't have to think about it anymore. It's always gonna be there, okay? So that's just something to keep in mind, all right? All right, so anyways, that's the end of the video. you have any questions, let me know, and talk to you soon. Okay?